This week on RSBANDB Update, RuneScape Dragonwilds has a surprising release. It's early access and already blooming into a member of the RuneScape franchise. We discuss gameplay, lore, and the future of Dragonwilds through our experiences. Also, Duck Quest and the Blooming Burrow arrive. This is RSBANDB Update, episode 1033, recorded Thursday, April 17th, 2025. Blooming Dragonwilds. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of RSBANDB Update. Not the episode we were planning on delivering this week. 100% honest and upfront in that I was not expecting to have a RuneScape Dragonwilds segment on the show this week, but lo and behold, here we are. Tanis, welcome.
Welcome to 2025, my friend. I haven't expected none of this shit, but here we are. We were expecting a live stream that was going to show off some of the gameplay, but beyond that, not too much. And I basically queried the band of people we do the show with, and I said, "Is anybody playing this? Is anybody interested in it?" Avernick, you had already got it and were into it by the time I asked that. It's like, "Oh, okay, great, you're on the show this week. Welcome back, Avernick."
No, thank you. It's been only a week, but totally code switching here and what we're talking about.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also Quest Week too. We have the Duck Quest and whatnot, and the return of the Blooming Burrow, which Parnassus, you have also been grinding out there. Going for my carrot outfit.
I have been, yes.
Always good having you with us. But, of course, in the meantime, just a big, huge thank you to our experienced tier Patreon members. For without them, this podcast would not be possible. And I'm actually going to read fully from the list this week. I did have a note that somebody got 2 shout-outs last week on that. But nonetheless, a big, huge thank you goes out to Amos Reed, Dominic R., Drama Free, Harry, Jason S., Jesse W., Kesky, Lemon Lodge, Luminos, Ricky A., Runestar, Oasis, Snail Mage, The Naked Captain, and Tim. Big, huge thank you to everybody. You'll be hearing more about our Patreon offerings a little bit later in the show. And, of course, in the meantime, you can follow along in the full show notes over at update.show. We also have a Discord at update.show/Discord, and the friends chat can be found in-game at BitsBytes. All right, so let's just dive right in. RuneScape Dragonwilds, Mod Doom, and a whole assortment of the dev team did a live stream this week. They talked about some lore. They talked about how the game came about. They talked about gameplay. They showed some gameplay, and then at the end, the new Jagex CEO, Mod North, and Dragonwilds executive producer Mod Dutch just shadow dropped this on us and said, "Hey, go grab it. It's on Steam now." First reactions.
Holy, what'd they say?
Go buy Dragonwilds.
I feel like we're kind of in the age of games where this is more early access is more common than not.
Yeah. Like, we knew it was going to be an early access title, but I don't think we expected it in the fashion that we did. We expected it to be, oh yeah, it'll come in a little bit, and, this is the day, wait for it, maybe I was thinking maybe the middle of May might be a starting point, but no, we're here. We're here right now.
Definitely no time to take off work.
No, that's right. I mean,
it's happening at noon.
What's the deal with? And this really is the first true survival game that I played like this. But every time when I'm looking through Steam, don't they all seem to start in early access to survival games? Like,
I mean,
like they all start.
Like, if you look at 2 of the biggest ones out there, specifically Valheim and 7 Days to Die, those have been, early access since the very beginning. And in the case of 7 Days to Die, they had the graphical fidelity of a potato, which is certainly not the case here for Dragonwilds in terms of where this lands. So,
a beautiful game.
Yeah, very much so. So what we're going to do here, I know we've been getting some early impressions. We're going to talk about the gameplay. Then after that, we'll look into some of the accessibility things as we do. Talk about the setting of the game, and then just some of the story stuff that we've been able to pick up on going forward. And I guess a question for you, Parnassius, where do you land on this? Because I think your reaction to this is a lot like your Fresh Start World's reaction was when we did that.
Yeah, I mean, again, these generally aren't my type of game. I mean, you know, I do a lot of PlayStation games where you just solo and that. I'm not sort of big on that Steam thing, but you streamed it in our Discord chat the other day when UI and Taxi were just doing a few things, and it was very positive. I mean, it was sort of, it looked traditional RuneScape, but not traditional RuneScape, if I can sort of say that, where the graphics were just incredible, but it had that sort of comfortable feel about it where I could probably get into it and, you know, go through fairly comfortably, because a lot of the stuff there has that RuneScape feel of cutting wood, running through it. It is that third person, you know, the camera's behind your character like it is in the game. You know, it looked very impressive, and especially since it is only early access and knowing that there is so much more coming, you know, it was very impressive. Let's just put it that way. Very impressed by what they've done, especially since, as I said, we've been hearing about working on this game for 10 years. You know, the
Various
last few months
games
they
for
went
10 years.
Well,
they said this
course,
started in 2021, which, you know, surprising to me on that. I thought it was something like 2018, but that might have been a different one that got canned. But
yeah. And that's it. And, you know, the last few months, they'd sort of gone radio silent on it a bit. And then all of a sudden, bang, it's here. And, you know, it's a different world. It's not Gielinor, obviously, but...
it still is. It's an island.
I was going to say.
It is. It's the island of Ashenfall. It's a new continent, basically.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize. Well, that's even better. It's sticking to that sort of RuneScape world. Then that makes it even more exciting for me.
It's new RuneScape,
and the fact I can play with one player or up to 4 players. I mean, there is a co-op, you know, in it where we can sort of get together with some mates and
that's
do
the
that
biggest
type of
thing about these survival games, because I don't know Tanis and Avernick. I'm assuming you didn't, Pern, but have you guys done any survival gaming in the past?
No,
just Minecraft, which is
that is the genre. It is the genre.
It's the genre. It's a little more buildy, a little less exploring and survival. But
I mean, and I played No Man's Sky, but survival is a element to it. It's not. I wouldn't consider it a survival game.
You know, I have dozens of hours in Valheim. I have hundreds and perhaps even close to, you know, 1,000+ hours in Minecraft of various varieties. So I think the thing that I want to point to with this is that this is definitely more towards the Valheim end, gameplay-wise, in that you start from a basic set of skills, woodcutting and mining primarily right now. And the whole business behind that is going to be building your shelter, building your tools, and working up the tech tree progression as more things get added to it. And the whole thing, I think, that is going to be compelling here is that, you know, you can, of course, once they add more dragons to the game, you'll be able to, in effect, gear with your friends and decide where you guys are going to go. And effectively, outside of the core storyline, build your own quests and mini-type raids on that, which I think is probably the thing that RuneScape players coming to this are going to be most looking forward to, is engaging with the RuneScape world and those dragons, but also being able to have your own hands on the crafting and survival aspect of it, because that has always been something when you look at those games, the survival games, is that we always have, like a food person, we always have like a general organization person, we have a builder, somebody specializes in X, Y, and Z, so to speak, on that. And the blueprints and everything that are here right now are pointing in a direction that is the way that Dragonwilds is going to go, which I think is wonderful for people who might be coming over from Valheim, as an example. So it takes that survival box.
Yeah. One thing I will ask, because, I mean, people I know sort of are more sort of your Xbox, PlayStation type players. It does have Xbox controller support, but it says partial controller support. Does that mean you still need the keyboard, or do we know anything about that side of things yet?
I am a keyboard gamer, so
I've been using a keyboard. The thing that comes... Oh, go ahead, Dennis.
Well, I haven't been able to I haven't used the controller with the PC yet, and it seems to, and it only really works on PC. I tried it on the deck. The deck will bring it up. The deck will try to play it, but it kind of fades in and out. And with that, the controller worked fine. It worked no problem.
Yeah, and I think there's no reason not to expect full controller support, because this is built on Unreal 5 engine, which as part of its DNA supports controller. So
the only thing that comes to mind that you'd need a keyboard is the chat system.
Yeah.
Well, of course,
isn't really something to stop you. I guess I don't know how it would work with currently you have a 8-item hotbar that you have to click a key for each of them. You can't like scroll through it, so
okay,
maybe the hotbar.
It reminds me of and I don't, it's not like this anymore, but do you remember playing ESO a long time ago, Shane, when it was like partial controller?
Yeah,
I swear.
Before they added the console UI to it.
Yeah, it was same kind of thing with that.
I will say that stuff like the spellbook wheel and stuff seems like they're leaning towards full control.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just not quite there yet.
Yeah, yeah, that is an angle on that. And with that, I think it makes sense to kind of look into, in addition to saying, hey, this is a survival game. If you come from Valheim, Minecraft, or other survival games, why would you like this? Well, the thing is, why would you like this if you're a RuneScape player? We'll get to the lore side of that in the story and the characters in a little bit, but there's also a suite of skills that are in game right now, and some that are on the way. In particular, right now, in game we have attack, mining, wood cutting, artisan, construction, cooking, and rune crafting on that list, which you know those skills from RS and
Mostly.
Artisan. I think they did something really good here. They made attack just the general melee skill. There is no strength and defense to worry about there, so that is nice. And Artisan, I think, is a fine way of saying this skill encompasses crafting as well as smithing as well,
and fletching.
Fletching. So that kind of lumps them all together in that area. And you do level up as you go. You unlock new tools. You unlock new nodes you can harvest from, and along the way you get boosts to your like if we look at attack, for example, you get reduced attack stamina cost every time you level up, pretty much. So it does lean into that side of it quite well. But I also think, and this is the thing that is going to jump out to everybody, is that they have managed with this to produce something that, even though it's in Unreal 5, it still feels RuneScape-y, from, of course, how the character looks, but also the environments, and even down to the various nitty gritty, like the cobblestone paths and whatnot. So you'll feel at home.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me cook, Shane. Let me cook.
Yeah.
Imagine. It reminded me of back in the day. There were these movies where it would be the cartoon, and all of a sudden the cartoon was da-da-da-da in real life, right? Whether it was Simpsons or whatever the case. You saw...
It was like the Lower Decks Strange New Worlds crossover episode.
Yes. Exactly.
To put it in Star Trek terms.
Exactly. That's what this felt like in RuneScape.
For people of my generation, think original Wizard of Oz, where it's sort of black and white, and then when she hits Oz, it goes all color and fancy and that.
there you go. And it's such a natural fit. If you were building RuneScape today, those skills are survival skills. It would be a survival game. And even though it's only been a couple hours, even though it's just what I would consider not much past a demo, I'm in love. Like, and we'll talk about some of the drawbacks, but this is the same feeling. You talk about the feels. I've got the feels about it, because it's reminding me. And of early RuneScape, and that art style, I would say it reminds me of like Nintendo, right? Like Nintendo isn't necessarily worse graphics, but it's a very distinct kind of.
Yeah, they don't aim to have the highest fidelity, but you know what it is when you see it.
And I feel like this is like that. So. Yeah, I'm so I never thought I would get to move. I am jucking and jiving those rabbits, dude. I am a rabbit killer. They ain't touching shit. Watch out. I don't know about no dragon yet, but I'm hell on these rabbits.
We'll get there.
I think the thing that stuck out to me as far as gameplay feeling is how much of it feels like old RuneScape but modern.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Both in ways that RuneScape 3,
like the new way of cutting down the tree, right?
Can't do. Yeah, right. Like the new way of cutting down tree, like in logs, like the construction is like what everyone would want their player and house to look like, but also in ways that I feel like RuneScape has adopted recently, like level up benefits, like critical striking while mining. Or masterwork recipes and stuff you can find is very like taking some of those newer ideas that we do have. So, but in both ways, it's both modern in the as it is in RuneScape, but also in ways that probably we'll never see in RuneScape.
Exactly, and
it feels like freedom.
Right, and
the freedom to move
from starting from scratch to get there.
Yeah, it's the WASD aspect of it, and this is going to be a survival game for people who download it as a survival game. Let's be 100% honest with that. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. That's what it's marketed towards. But there's a segment of the population out there. I count myself partially in this. I know you're fully in it, Tanis. This is what we have wanted for years for the RuneScape world. Something that, and I promised myself I wouldn't make this connection to something called RuneScape 4, but this is the underpinnings of it in terms of the way the world works, is what you would expect for a RuneScape 4. Maybe it would be more MMORPG and less survival based, but in general, the building blocks are there, and it scratches an itch that a lot of us have been waiting for a long, long time.
I'd like to say, I mean, watching when you were playing and such yesterday, it gave me that Steve Jobs feel. They've given me something I didn't know I wanted, but I really want now.
Yeah.
That says a lot. And for people watching on the video version right now, this is my basic house that I built. There's a sleeping mechanic with it that's part of the survival game. But you can basically see with this how the building aspect of it works. And it's like you were saying, the reason I'm taking a bit of this left turn here is because if you look at the build menu, it separates things out into things like furniture and whatnot. And you think, like you said, oh, I want a POH and I want some storage in my POH. You just build an extra set of chests there for it.
Oh yeah. Are you a basic house person, or are you a level the forest to make a mansion person?
Right now, just a basic house. It's just got the bedroll on the floor and a cot and a chest in the corner.
Dude, I clear cutted half that freaking forest before I built shit.
And you'll do it again when you unlock the next log.
Yeah.
And also, I mentioned as well, you can use magic to cut down the trees as well. That was just on the video version, and it's a new take on what would rune crafting be. And I imagine there will be a lore explanation to this at some point down the road. But basically, what happens is you take some rune essence, you take some stones, and then you're just able to build your own rune altar wherever you please. And then off the base of that, you're able to craft air and astral runes, which form the powers of the first few spells that you use. So again, like you said, it's kind of a reinterpretation.
Right. I think probably, and I haven't seen any specific explanation otherwise, probably the hand wave they're going to go with for that is that the setting just in general is more magical, that they've gone with this continent is, and the amount of freedom that they're like referencing elder gods and dragonkin stuff is very surprising to me. They're like, this is like
which puts it post Fifth Age.
Oh, very much so. It's like this is where the elder gods vented all of their excess magic, so everything's more magical, which is hugely influential to the gameplay, like with the spells and whatnot, but also the setting, and everything's a lot of rune crafting rifts or divination rifts, wherever you want to call them, everywhere, and everything's like an altered rat or an altered cow.
And
I mean, it's got the.
Go ahead.
I was going to say the wise old man, Vanica. Vanik, because
very classic RuneScape.
That bitch can't ever die. Yeah, like
her journal entry in the game is she's died twice already. They're not avoiding it.
That's funny.
Okay, that's interesting timeline wise. Very neat. Very neat. And you know, I think overall, the thing I'll probably say to people is that, you know, keep in mind this is a game that caps at 4 players, and it's limited right now in terms of the content that's there, because obviously, you know, early access and whatnot. But it's just like all the other early access survival games out there. You're gonna play it nonetheless, right? So don't let that be a hindrance and say you'll wait, because another one of the survival games that me and our group put a good amount of time into was one called Abiotic Factor, which ran horribly, looked like a potato, and still provided, you know, dozens of hours of gameplay to it. So, you know, if you're going to get, you know, more than a handful of hours out of this, it's definitely worth it in that regard if you're a survival game person, or if you know, just like the RuneScape world. So.
Yeah.
Anything else on gameplay in general before I move on to some accessibility stuff and talk to Tanis about that?
Have you guys done much combat?
Goblins, cows. I chased down the deer. How do you find it?
I feel like generally 80% of the combat is just making sure you're managing your stamina.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Don't jump around willy nilly. Save some to like dodge or whatnot. Or if you parry badly, you're gonna lose a lot of it. So not too different, I guess, in my mind, from Adrenaline in RuneScape, where you have to always save a little for your defensive, use it wisely, always be building.
Yeah, I really want to see. eventually what magic and ranged bring as a combat style.
You can use them right now. You just don't get experience.
Oh,
or
okay.
You don't get leveling benefits, but like there's up to tier 4 gear for you.
Okay.
It's very beneficial to be like melting things there so far.
Okay.
Especially the deer.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Can we eat them eventually? Because I'm eating berries and shit, right? Like, can I?
Oh yeah, you can cook the meat.
Some deer. Okay. All right.
Get yourself a good venison stew going.
Oh yeah.
Well, maybe that'll be the play then for the first quest that is to go and retrieve what's his name? Canton? Cantar? Yeah.
Cantar.
Yeah. Maybe that'll be
the one play. That's not an original. The one that is an original character.
Yeah, it's fine.
We need a cook.
It's fine. But setting wise from that, or no, I was going to go to accessibility next.
Yeah.
Tanis, how does this feel compared to other video games that you have started?
Early, rough. It's hard because I don't know how hard to be, because it's early access. I don't expect, I feel like maybe it shouldn't be, but it's almost like some accessibility would be polish, like I don't know if they would look at it like polish.
Yeah. So what would you say is one thing that stands out to you then?
The biggest annoying thing is I cannot use my scroll wheel to zoom in at all on that third on my character. I need to get a little bit closer to him. I need to zoom in a little bit more. Like, doesn't have to be much, but once again, I'm going to compare it to ESO, right? Like where you can you can get in closer.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember Valheim if that's even an option to extend out or bring the camera range in.
Yeah, I would really like to see that, especially given that added with it's tiny. The stuff that says logs or this or that, very, very small.
You mean like when you mouse over it, or?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, like when you're trying to gather things,
right,
and you're trying to pick it up, it's very, very small. Now there is 2 accessibility options at this point. There's language and font. Font makes the menu, a little bit bigger. You can make it smaller, but you can make it a little bit bigger. And I guess language could be considered accessibility. But the map was another thing that was kind of rough to deal with.
Right, you got to press M for this. It's not the typical MMO map that's going to display in your top right corner.
Right, and I do like the compass style things that you can follow a certain point, on a compass, like on your HUD at the top.
That shows your markers and whatnot.
I guess maybe I haven't figured out those markers, but some of them seem pretty similar. So I did find myself kind of going around, but then I figured out, I was like, oh, if you look really close, it's got the meters on there. So like I started to figure out how to use it. It's just that things are very, very small. I feel like the click boxes on them is pretty precise. Because I kept missing rocks. Like I couldn't. It seemed like I wasn't picking up the rocks. But then when I was just looking,
so maybe
for
like
rocks,
an option to handle like the entity highlighting or something might be a thing. Because I don't know if you noticed this, and I wanted to ask you this. But when you mouse over something that's on the ground, like a log or whatever, it will shimmer a little bit. I don't know if you noticed that.
It does. But that. Yeah, and you're trying to hit E real quick when you see that pop, but that's what I'm saying. That's how I know like that click box is so precise, because like if you're, I don't know, it's like if you're not right on it when it lights up, you don't pick it up, kind of thing. But yeah, I can tell that. So far, it's just the logs have been the ones. The rocks I haven't been able to see is easy. Logs I see pretty easy. Oh, that reminds me, nighttime. Nighttime sucks, by the way.
You can sleep to skip it.
Yeah, that's what I learned. About I just now build a bedroll and stuff, but I was like,
and that also sets your respawn point too. By the way.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. One thing I'll say, and I think I read this in the Discord, and this might be accessibility, but it's just also look and feel from my perspective. I feel like maybe the bloom is a little bit too much. How do you feel about that, Avernick? With the lighting,
I generally have been okay with it, but I could see that it veering in that way.
The lighting's so, like, it's almost like it's trying to be so accurate that it's pretty bright in some spots, like, where I couldn't, see certain things very well.
Yeah, and I think there was a note in the Discord as well that there will be more graphical options as time progresses. So,
yeah. Now, one thing, that surprises me, because I feel like this could be done super freaking cheap nowadays. Like, it was all text. Why in 2025 is it all text when I can get 3 presidents to say anything I want on a YouTube video in 30 seconds?
Oh, so basically voiceover stuff.
Yeah,
and, again, early access, I feel like, at least on the story side, that would be something that would probably be a good thing to consider for that going forward.
That's one thing that I was missing. I will definitely say, like, I never even thought that it would be like that. And I saw the intro, I saw the graphics, and I'm like, and then that was straight out of 5th Age RS3, right? Like, I mean, that was straight out of that latest quest kind of style. So that was cool, and I was like, okay, kind of anime-ish, kind of whatever. But then when I go to talk to Wise Old Man, and it's like, I'm reading like it's 2008, like this.
His party had seen better days.
Wilted.
They've seen better days.
Yeah. And with that, I think that's a good pivot point to what they have planned for this, because there is of course a roadmap that was talked about on the live stream as well. So there will be a new region and a new dragon overlord that is in development right now. They're also working on skill-wise magic, ranged, and farming.
Farming.
Well, who wants that? Forever then?
I want that. I was already eyeing the, what we could be doing with that. So I'm all there for that one.
Yep.
And they say RuneScape roots, new quests, lore, gear, and music.
Oh, yeah. The music is awesome, by the way.
Yeah. And
did you guys see the live stream where they showed off the that one Welsh song?
Yes.
I can't believe how much they marketed that in the live stream. It is super hidden in the game, but it is so cool when you find it.
How far in is it?
A highlight. In the level 3 power 3 areas.
Okay.
But it's hidden.
They're also working on lesser dragons, Dragon Slayer gear, masterwork weapons. Have to wonder how much that's going to lean into what we know as masterwork already.
I definitely think they could go further in the masterwork stuff.
And
from what they've already done.
It fits the survival, like making it like that gives everything a purpose other than just a number. or at least that's the way it feels to me. Like it feels like it has a purpose. Like I could sit there and do masterwork and I don't know. It just has a totally different feel to it.
Expanded base and homesteading, as well as building defenses, hardcore mode, creative mode, new critters and animals, new vaults, new crafting tiers, and raising the skill caps. And their ongoing improvements will focus around messaging and tutorialization, combat, performance, multiplayer, and difficulty, as well as lighting and weather.
Okay.
So,
yep. Big stuff coming.
Yeah, and I feel like this is a good mark for early access compared to some early access games out there on Steam. I don't know how many, if any, you guys have played of Steam early access stuff.
Too many that never went nowhere.
I think it took me about 15 hours to get through everything they've put out so far, which I think is pretty solid.
Yeah, I think that's a good mark.
Charging and to get a good sense of it.
Right, and I mean, it's also something where you could just go, and explore the world too. There's that. So.
Oh yeah, I'm ready for a co-op play. To go right back in for a co-op playthrough.
There you go. Okay. Any other questions on the roadmap or anything else to mention on that? No. Okay.
No.
A well-known RuneScape character, Death, will guide and task players, but be warned, ghosts, skeletons, and undead ogres are abound. So I guess this is
going to be a fun themed area, yeah.
Yeah, this is like Dragonwilds Reaper tasks, right?
I was thinking it's necromancy all the way.
Ooh. Well, they
probably not.
No,
probably not already time for fourth combat style.
Yeah, let's not.
Maybe prayer. Go light.
Yeah, that'd be a fun skill to add. All right, I'm going to thank some Patreon supporters right now because we do have to do that. Then we'll get into the broader setting of Dragonwilds plus some lore stuff. So this week I'd like to thank Alvaro L, Amos Reed, Arvids L, Brayton K, Chilbura, Dominic R, Drama Free, Duramax, Gila Fleur, Harry, Jade Gizmo, Jason S, Jesse W, Keski, Lemon Lodge, Luminos, Mongrath, Parnassius, Ricky A, Robbie D, Runestar, Samuel FL, Scott DS, Shirt Pants, Psy Oasis, Snail Mage, The Naked Captain, The Davin Goat, Tim, Ukulele Steve, Woody, Zant, and Zazakon. Big, huge thank you, everybody, for enabling us to do this podcast, to have fun each and every week, and just talk about RuneScape. All things RuneScape, for that matter. If you want to learn more about what this is about, head on over to patreon.com/RSBANDB. I lied last week. I thought we were a week later in the month than we were, and I said the Patreon poll would be going up over the weekend. I thought we were on this weekend when I said that, but it will be going up over this weekend, and everybody who is a Patreon member gets the ability to vote in our monthly bit topics. We have a few of those we're still stewing over, but expect those to show up over Easter at patreon.com/RSBNB. And you might be wondering, well, what is a monthly bit? Well, it's a bonus show that we do every month that talks about a specific subject, and we have more than 80 of them now on all sorts of things. Holiday events, legacy combat mode, that's one I always bring up. And, we also have one that we did just this last month on archaeology 5 years later, because that skill is 5 years old now. So if any of those topics sound interesting to you, head on over to patreon.com/RSBNB. You get all that for $1 a month. We also do have the VIP tier at $3 a month, where you get a rank on Discord and access to a chat channel and access to high-quality stereo versions of the show. And we do have the Insider tier as well, where you get a shout-out on the podcast each and every week and access to the outtakes we used to make the clip show at the end of the year. So, patreon.com/RSBNB. Thanks so much for your support, everyone. It means the world to us.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
All right. So we were dancing around this issue, and the first thing that came up in the Clan Quest Discord is, when is this game set? And
baby.
The set, yeah, well, 2025, obviously, based on the graphics, hey?
But in the game,
like in the game, world-wise, it's sometime after the 6th age, I think, is the sense that we get, right?
Yeah, which is shocking. I feel like
because this goes into setting and lore.
Yeah, it's very not old school in that way.
It's not 5th age.
Clearly brought in old school stuff in other ways, but it's super overt about God stuff. It's super overt about events that just never happened in old school.
Like you mentioned in particular.
Like Zanuck talks about Bandos being killed during the world event and her dying twice, and there's mentions about the Elder Gods, and there's Karapak is mentioned in the different lore books, which is much more...
That's wild when you think about it.
Yeah. Well, but that's because... Isn't that because old school's already the Kelvin timeline?
The which timeline?
Oh, that's another Star Trek reference.
Damn it. I mean, they're still doing old school type stuff, like with items and stuff like that, and maybe even some of the choices that how certain characters look or certain items.
My sense is that, and
but it's current,
is that OS is a different interpretation on the RS3 lore, just like this is going to be a different interpretation on both RS3 and old school, but it's leaning more into the 6th age side of things, specifically because you mentioned
for sure
the fall of Bandos,
which is very integral to like the lore of the first area, where all the goblins are worshiping the dragon now because he's the big high war god for them, because Bandos left.
And with that, what do you think of the medium of being able to use this to tell stories? Obviously, we have a narrow range of story content available right now, but how do you see this going in terms of RuneScape quests? Because we've had lots of fetchy things so far.
It'll be looser. It has been looser from the ones I've seen. Some of them are a little more straight dump story dialogue or text heavy side quests, but largely it knows what genre it's in. That's largely all of the lore. 90% of lore is in books that people are going to skip. Stuff like that. Quests are not the story fests.
They're not the
MMO game.
And that's the first thing you'll notice, is that when you get sent on a quest, it's basically a fetch quest like you would have in another MMO. Which I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, it's the game that's in.
Yeah. Do you think we'll ever be in a situation where we do lore diggers for Dragonwilds?
I think so. There's the thing that's impressed me the most is how much it will just feel like the current RuneScape setting, and then say something totally off the wall new, and it just that's now the established normal. It's introducing new.
What do you got as an example on this?
I don't think in the second half of the regions, the primary people running around are just a new race of people from a new world that they're just talking about with their own god that you've never heard of before. It's 100% new. And then they're tying it back to like Doric and Vanica are there interacting with it.
Huh.
Okay.
It's both,
cool.
But then you'll find a lore book's like, oh, and Karapak was doing this during the first age, and it's all the stuff you learned in Anachronia. So it swaps seamlessly back between the two.
Okay, and I think that's going to be the key bit if they're leaning on the RS3 lore side of it, is that you got to make sure there's at least some level of consistency there, in that you can't make it so that it's not recognizable to somebody who plays RS3. You can add on to it. And maybe you can clarify in certain spaces, but don't do a complete, 180 on what our character was, so to speak, like you mentioned with Karapak.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Very bold. I'm going to go with bold.
Okay.
But nothing's felt wrong yet.
Have you played the Corrin storyline in Old School?
Yes.
What do you...
Kingdom Divided or whatever the last one was.
Through Kingdom Divided. That's fine. What would you think if, and I don't know if they'd want to go this way, but they mentioned quests, but what if there was like a group adventuring party that you could go on that basically expose the lands in such a way, and we get to a point where you have a grand finale like we had with Kingdom Divided for that, if they tried something like that here as, you know, like a main storyline for the area.
Other than what they've presented so far, I feel like it'd be weird to have a second main story going on other than the Dragon General.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay.
They have going on. But like if they're definitely, there's a lot of stuff on Velgar in this first region that it could be building each dragon in such a way. Granted, hopefully not a spoiler, you kill the dragon.
Well, obviously, like that's what you're working up towards, right?
Army at the end,
yeah.
Right. For this first main quest, you kill the dragon. Yeah, I mean, it'll culminate in a way. I feel like so far it's only been allusions to Caldera, whatever the Dragon Queen's name is, and I don't think I've seen anything about any other dragons, so it's very focused for now about Velgar.
All right,
making a species extinct, typical humans.
Yeah, well, I guess they're
trying to make us extinct first.
Yeah, but there's a lot more humans than there are dragons, so I'm on the dragon side.
Yeah, and that's fair, I think. But I think what I'll say from this is that, and Avernick, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, is that we're not going to be playing this for story and lore as the primary reason, I don't think.
Probably not primary, but there's so
there's
much
going to be
dig into.
good stuff along the way.
Every item description is dripping with tales of some battle that Bandos fought, or some haughty dragonkin that thought he was above it all, or whatever. There's so much, and I probably the reason is that it's Modraven, like, just,
and that's just what I was
as hard as he can on everything.
And that's just what I was going to say right now. You watched the live stream, right? And they had a section with Modraven.
Yes. Oh, I'm surprised by how much he just said out loud, but it's all there.
He basically gave the entire lore reason of how this island exists and what the idea is behind it. So I think for all of our people who are, you know, on the quest and lore side from RS3, if you're worried about this not fitting in with the wider world, or you're worried they're going to do weird stuff with it, don't worry. Modraven's handling the story on this.
Yeah, the oddities are so minimal. It's like, oh, you can make your own Staff of Light or Granite Maul, and the recipe's a little weird. That's like the weirdest thing. Everything else feels so thought out and like it fits.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's like a cartoon coming to life.
But when you say making your own Staff of Light, I mean, I much prefer we make our own weapons anyway.
Oh yeah, the master process feels awesome.
I've always said bosses should not drop complete items. They should drop parts that we have to create ourselves and put together. You know, even if it's a broken item and we have to sort of smith to fix it and collect parts to do it. You know, I've always felt that would be a better way. So it sounds like, yeah, we don't want a cookie cutter version of RuneScape 3 in Unreal Engine, and this sounds like, you know, they're giving us enough of the lore side and sticking to that it's comfortable for us, but a new game style that we're going to have fun playing and not get bored and think, well, yeah, I've done all this over on the other one. Why am I doing it again? So yeah, it really does. I think they've really hit the nail again.
Yeah, one of my favorite things of, you know, whether it be Valheim or 7 Days or even the pixelated Minecraft, was getting the group together and going to, you know, kill some form of a boss, or, you know, in the case of Minecraft, getting to the end for the first time. I feel like if they can bring in some sort of, you know, major accomplishments style thing with that, whether it be, you know, like a group boss fight or something to that effect. It doesn't need to be like a raid or an elite dungeon or anything like that, but just some kind of group boss fight that's going to feel rewarding at the end of the day, And if that can, of course, primarily tick the survival box while being RuneScape and maybe throwing in some lore sprinkled throughout the way, I think that's a recipe for success if they can execute on it.
I think they're probably already there with that hit the end, kill the Ender Dragon feeling with their current Dragon Slayer quest. The fact that's the first part of it is the amazing part.
Like, right, because there's going to be multiple dragons.
Oh, if they stopped at 3, I think that would be a huge game. I doubt they're stopping at 3.
Right, and
we're already at 1.
And that's the thing. They are forecasting having content releases every 3 to 4 months on this. The thing is, how do you keep the momentum up on that? I wonder.
I'm sure early access game sales helps that.
Yeah, and I mean, if I switch over to the Steam page right now, and apparently, according to Mod Doom, more people than they were anticipating wishlisted the product, which is good for Steam ratings. Right now, it's got a very positive with over 5,000 reviews on it, and it's 4.5 out of 5.
That just spells content to come.
Yeah, it does. And I think we'll just wrap on that at this point. But there's just one other thing I wanted to highlight here as we get through this, is that you're going to get, as part of the sign up process when you install this, you're going to get a notification that it uses the Epic Online services. And I just want to make it clear, you don't need an Epic account and you don't need the Epic launcher. It just uses that in the background, and you need to just press accept on that for that.
And just for the multiplayer stuff.
Yeah, just for the multiplayer networking.
Doesn't even come up.
And I think the goal with that is to, maybe see if they can move away from that as they get into release. Because I know the Epic Game Store can be polarizing for people.
Right, but notice, I think there was a tell with that. It said cross-platform, and I think that's why it's they're using the Epic Store, because eventually...
Is Epic on Xbox and PS?
I don't know.
Yeah, because of Fortnite.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Obviously.
Yeah, that game. Right, we almost forgot. It exists.
I played Fortnite once upon a time ago. I threw the dance grenade, and I made my entire team dance, and we died, and that was the end of that.
Experience over.
All I remember of Fortnite is those kids doing the dancing outside schools. That weird dance that they look like they're trying to dry themselves with a towel.
Okay. Anything else on Dragonwilds before we move on to the Duck Quest?
No, well, as I said, I'm someone who doesn't really get into that type of thing. I'm excited to give it a go.
All right. Avernick, tennis.
Excited for other people to keep joining us and to see what it's like in co-op.
Yeah,
right.
I'm already working on. My boss tried RS3, a couple of years ago, and it was a mess. That did not work out well at all, and we didn't have any of the improvements for the early game that we had, with going up to fresh start and then after. But I think he's going to try this one, and it's easy enough to do. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm really pleased. I'm just really happy where it's at right now.
All right. And the final note, they say this game will be shaped by player feedback from alpha to launch and beyond, with the players helping to guide the roadmap. So they'll be taking everything that they know from RS3 and OS and applying it to Dragonwilds. So players will be able to influence the way the game goes going forward.
Oh yes, there's already a survey out. So if you're currently playing,
okay,
find the link for that. They're asking questions about expanding player count on servers, about large servers with PvPvE, about what everyone thinks about all the skills currently, what's going well, what's not, frustrations. So
nice, wonderful.
A lot going on.
Well, from the continent of Ashenfall to the Duck Lair of Paddlington, this week we go for what is just called Duck Quest, an introductory free-to-play quest in-game that's entire purpose is to guide a little baby duckling back to her parents. I don't think you get more wholesome than that.
Isn't that wholesome?
No.
Well, especially when, like, with me, one section where I didn't realize just how far back the duck feed was in Falador. And I'm sitting there looking around, and I'm looking around for the duck feed. I'm going, where? So I just got frustrated, and I've got this little duckling in my pocket, and I'm just slaughtering all the ducks in Falador Park. It was pissing me off, so I'm just killing ducks and thinking, I'm trying to work out how am I find, where is this bloody duck seed? It took me like 5 minutes to find the duck seed, so I killed a lot of ducks in the with a duckling in my pocket, so it's traumatized. It's gonna be the Duck Dexter of Gillinor.
I scoured that park. I talked to every NPC.
Yeah.
I
had to look it up.
No, I refused to look up where it was. I was. I ended up just going out.
How was it not in the park?
There was no. It said just outside the park.
I thought it was going to be from the woman who walks around by the pond.
Yeah,
anyways.
Tried her, tried the guy, tried everything.
Okay. So
anyway, I sat on the bench hoping that would trigger it. Feed the ducks.
Tried that.
I'm going to rewind it.
Anyway,
so you start in Draenor Village with this, and you follow this this trail of duck feed, and I thought this was very interesting because I had no idea we would be following this trail from the Willows at Lumbridge, or at Draenor rather, all the way to the area just northwest of the Champions Guild. I didn't know it was going to be that long of a run, and I also didn't know that there's going to be that much gap between each of the breadcrumb markers that they had there, or nest debris rather.
I'm a little confused how the nest crashed across multiple kingdoms, but you know.
But I also want to make clear that this was Mod Echo's Game Jam project as a project to actually learn RuneScript, and I noticed that throughout this entire quest, and not in a bad way that you might think. Because there were so many things in this quest that you see in other quests throughout the game. And it's very clearly, okay, how can we work in, this kind of nest debris scavenger hunt into this quest to see how that would work with RuneScript? How can we do a player-based cutscene that is in other quests as well? How can we do a transmogrify on the player to something like a duck, which is, again, in other quests. So this was it was very clear that this was, an exercise at the beginning of how to learn RuneScript, but it has morphed into something, I think, and I saw comments online to this effect, that if you, had younger siblings or nieces, nephews, and even children of your own, you could have them with you and take them through this quest just because of the cute, wholesome nature of it, unless you're Pronastius, of course.
Hey, I'd take my niece's nephew through while I kill everything.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
All the ducks in the Falador Park.
I'll tell you a story about raising kids afterwards.
Okay, I don't necessarily know that I like the way that sounded, but sure, if it's for after the show, that can't be good. But
no, I'd happily say it on the show, but
no, let's not.
Time.
No, yeah. So you follow this trail, and you get to a guy named Breadsticks, who is a druid who is just kind of zenning out, which is kind of hilarious in its own right, and he says you need to get into Paddlington and you need to talk to the ducks, and you talk to the ducks as you would normally do with your character English voice, but it doesn't work. So you need the potion of duck speak, and you get basically a little diagram, and this diagram says to combine duck feed with a vial of water, and that's how you get your duck speak potion. And then that's where we get to the duck massacre part.
Duck feed in Falador Tree Place, the park.
Yeah, the dude by the tree also has smoked way too much dwarf weed.
Duckweed.
Duckweed's probably a better way of saying that there for that. And
that's a nice little visual puzzle.
Yeah, and I feel like overall at this point, you get to this quest at this stage, you don't expect that you're going to go to a brand new environment for this quest, but you actually do. They built an entire new environment here, which is Paddlington. I was not anticipating that for a small quest like this, so very, very much appreciated.
Even in game jams, they can really pump out those areas.
Yeah, what'd you think of the environment overall? It's
neat.
In terms of in terms of what it provided, I guess. In terms,
I actually thought a lot of the pillars, the designs in the pillars looked very like Temple of Amnesia or whatnot. So I was surprised it was in Varrock, but it looks good.
Yeah.
The area itself looked beautiful.
Yeah, and I wonder who this was. I'm going to assume this was probably Black Witch, but somebody can correct me after. Oh, it was.
They posted on their Twitter.
Okay.
During the game jam like months ago.
Oh. And, just the level of immersion with this here, and also this is to the point where you get into all the duck puns as well, like the induction.
Yeah. That typical Jagex humor.
Yeah, and then the entire point with this is to complete trials, and you think that this is going to, of course, be a difficult thing, but it's not.
Cute little stuff to do as the duck, because got to show off the cool little duck transmog.
Yeah. I think the thing, the style there with that was that you had the little one following you throughout this entire bit.
Yep,
which was neat.
Yeah.
So,
he didn't print it on you basically, so he's going to stay with you until
forever. Yeah. Why are we even finding his parents?
That's right. Once a duckling prints on you, it doesn't want its parents.
I mean, we have other things to deal with.
This quest is too wholesome for that.
Yeah. Overall, though, the trials, there's not too much with those. You'd expect that, maybe you might have to do something a little bit elaborated, but you just need to eat peas. Somebody is going for the peas, not the cabbage here. You guys like peas?
I didn't know. No, not whatever. I didn't know like peas were a popular duck food.
Yeah. Oh no, okay. Well, I like peas, but I mean, I think that's a sort of a throwback to the mushy peas that the Poms love.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not a fan of a pea person, but are ducks fans of peas in real life? Anybody know that?
I don't know. Not that I know of, but anyway.
Okay.
I had a duckling. I had a duckling as a kid, and we never fed it peas.
Yeah, you probably feed it proper duck, bird, waterfowl food.
I typed into Google, do ducks like, and the second highest option is peas. It's above bread.
Well, that's probably from this week in terms of the Google search trends.
RuneScape is converting Google.
Apparently, people are swapping over to feeding ducks peas instead of bread because they don't need the carbs.
which I mean is true for humans as well. But after that, you head into the inner part of Paddlington, and this panoramic view there was absolutely amazing for that. I loved seeing that. And you have a bit of a puzzle in here. You need to effectively get the baby duck to stand on one of the buttons that's there, and then you push the other one, and then following.
That wasn't intuitive.
Yeah, it ended up being for me just click on all the things I can click on, and eventually it worked.
Yeah. And then the bubbles come out of the toad's mouth, and that is what carries you upwards to the next level.
Parents, yes.
But what I wanted to ask, what did everyone think? The transition where the duck's waddling and then just straight into the water swimming, I think they nailed that beautifully.
My God.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of character animation stuff going on there.
The way it, because like with most things in RuneScape, when you transition from one to the other, there's always that jerky pause. This, it just went waddling straight into the water, smoothly swimming. I thought, wow, they've nailed that perfectly.
There's got to be some kind of visual trickery involved in that, right?
Well, I don't know.
It's got to be doing
however they did it.
Animated the whole thing all the way through. They didn't switch from one cycle of animations to a different one.
Yeah, which I don't know. Like, I don't think we have anything like that.
It was a very fun game jam project
in the game, then. Yeah. Which, you look at some of the other stuff that was in Game Jam 2 as well, with like the wind and whatnot that we saw last fall. So, but in any case, the reason you need to do this is because you need to go up to the second level, because that's where the ducklings' parents are. And then once you're both able to get up there successfully with the buttons and the frog, you talk to the ducklings' parents, and they are just so happy to have their little duckling back. And at the end of that, that's pretty much quest complete. Did you guys catch how the baby duckling used the overhead heart emote when you were talking to the parents?
Yes.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Also, I mean, they were such great parents and so worried about their kid, they just hung around their nest up there and, oh, look, there he's back. Chilling. Yeah, I'll be so happy. Yeah, they were enjoying that time away from him.
Oh, that one came back. He can live.
That's it. Sorry.
But once you get out, you get a 500 Herblore XP lab, and you get a little rubber duck that serves as the teleport item to get you back into Paddlington as a duck. If you ever want to go back, which, I might for screenshots for thumbnails on this episode. Though it might be a Dragonwilds one. I don't know. That's going to be a hard choice. But
it's not going to be that hard of a choice.
You also
one of them's going to get you more clicks.
I hate that about YouTube. I hate that. But
sorry, Duck Quest.
You also get the duckling pet as a reward there for that too. But I think we appreciate having this quest on Blooming Burrow Week, because we could have had another seasonal quest for it, right? But
I'm surprised it's not. I get the appeal that like they really like it. It's everyone likes it. Like, it can be permanent, whatnot. But is that not saying that seasonal quests are like not worth keeping around all the time? Before, would it have been to this quest detriment to locate it in Blooming Burrow, so you have to relocate?
That's just what I was going to say, Rick.
Sorry.
No, what I was going to say is that for this to be a seasonal quest, it would have to be set primarily in the Burrow, which it wasn't, and I think that's the reason. Anyways,
I guess it coming in from a game jam, it wasn't thought of when in development, so it's probably already implemented outside the Burrow. Okay, I'm talking myself into it.
Yeah, see, so now it gets to be an actual one. Go ahead, Tannis.
I was just gonna say, it reminds me of like Violet It's Blue, how that was
the Christmas quest, even though
this fits a lot more than the Violet quests. It's permanent, for sure. I think.
Now the question: will there ever be a quest that requires Duck Quest as a prerequisite?
Duck Quest 2.
Well, I hope not.
Saving the duck from the oven.
Okay. Zerdones is not here for Quest Week, but I feel like we have to do this Quest Week in terms of summing this all up. No, it's an actual quest.
Oh, yeah, definitely an actual quest, yeah.
Rating out of 5.
I mean, just on cuteness level and such. I mean, I found a few things a little frustrating and not intuitive, but overall, I mean, it's still a solid 4 out of 5 for me.
All right. Aberdeen?
3. I thought it was cute.
Okay. I'm going to go with the 4.5 because of the I can't get to 5 fully. That's difficult. But I want to go with a 4.5 because of what we were talking about specifically with the model transitions between waddling on the surface and swimming for the duck.
Well, that's what upped it from a 3 to a 4 for me because of the environment and just the way they did a lot of the stuff. But yeah,
damn it, I was being harsh. I'll go 4. Talk me up. It wasn't very hard to twist my arm there.
Okay, how about you, Tannis?
I don't know. I'm not gonna do any quest unless I have to, kicking and screaming. So, I don't know.
Duck out of 5.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
But I feel like this was good because, like we were saying, otherwise it would be set in the Burrow, which also came back this week, and I don't know. I feel like we have to have a conversation about the holiday hubs, the Burrow, and the.
It's only year 2. What's the conversation?
Well, I feel like everybody.
Christmas hub, I think, still works.
Yeah, the
well,
Christmas one hits the spot right all the time. But I'm wondering with the Burrow if it's able to draw the attention that it asks for. I know what I'll be there for. I'm there for the carrot outfit primarily in terms of the mystery eggs. That's what I want to be there for. There's, of course, the Burrow egg hunt. You have to find a dozen eggs inside the Burrow to unlock the Gielinorian egg hunt and then the community egg hunt. Gielinor egg hunt week 1 is happening right now. Community egg hunt week 1 will start on Sunday, and these unlock things in the Grand Exchange, as they call it, that include this year new items such as the Death Skulls chocolate override, as well as the bunny ears and the main and offhand carrot swords that you can buy for doing those egg hunts.
I thought the Gielinor egg hunt, the week 1 one was decently tough.
Yeah, it was.
Or at least vague. I feel like I thought I knew where it was for several of them multiple times, and it just wasn't it because the clue, like the one with the skittering in a pool underground. I went to like the cockroach cave, and I went to the lumberjack swamp, and it just wasn't there, and ended up being lumberjack catacombs.
And then got to go back because you can't pick it up. You have to actually telegraph it. So you have to go back.
Yeah, well, we learned that in the first year that you always want to bring telegraph runes for these.
Yeah, I think Bounty is the first time they did that. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I didn't remember that, did I?
Who would?
Also, with this same sort of thing, just in terms of the, again, accessibility aspect of it, they did add an orange glow to the eggs this year, which weren't there last year, which is appreciated.
Yeah.
They had a glow last year, but probably
it definitely wasn't initially.
Yeah. Remember, I think the second week.
Yeah.
I think halfway through last year they added that glow because that was there last year, but because the first doing it on the first day was nigh on impossible to find some of them, but I think they added the glow the second week.
Because I know last year I had a hell of a time finding the eggs even in the burrow itself. So that's why I noticed that immediately off the bat this year. But thinking back, you're right, they did add that for that. And you can You have to complete that once to unlock the full Gielinor egg hunt, but you can also repeat it daily to earn treasure trail points and a casket, which the casket will reward clue scroll items from. So I don't think we can get that on the Iron Man character, but you can get easy fortunate components from that and things that are worth $1 mil plus if you play your cards right with that. What are the treasure trail points used for, by the way? I wasn't able to figure that out.
They're just onto your normal treasure trail for your outfit
and skips, step skips.
They're for the proper treasure, for the proper clue hunters.
Oh,
yeah, the shop outside of exchange.
Yeah.
Oh, so you can use that.
Yeah, they're the same points you get for doing normal clues.
Oh, okay.
So for people who are, if you're, Thaxi should be doing these because he wants to get his clue outfit.
And it's a way of doing it without doing clues. But again, it's the same amount as an easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also quite limited to once a day.
Yeah, once a day. But I mean, over 3 weeks, that's not an insignificant amount if you want to commit yourself to that. Okay. Right. I don't know. Okay. My mind immediately went to Treasure Hunter, and maybe that's a bad thing.
Oh, no.
Well, you see the name Treasure.
Dirty capitalist, you, Shane.
Oh, I have to admit that I am on the lookout for the mystery eggs this year. But let's talk about what new was added to the burrow. In particular, the beekeeping as one of the things you can do for spring tokens there. If you want to purchase anything from the spring token store, I found that actually compared to the things we had previously, like the foil making inside the factory and the chocolate mining, I felt that the beekeeping was actually easier to go with from a bit of a laid back perspective on that.
Well, if you go to the mixing station, if you're not worrying about min-maxing, sit on one station and click every 15 minutes.
Yeah,
click your screen every
2/3 the reward.
Exactly. You're always getting the 8 points. You'll get 12 points if you run to each station it's going, but you get 8 points. Every sort of game tick, basically.
Yeah,
I think it's something like 1,600 an hour down here. So,
I guess if you run this on the on mobile, if you were just running this, behind the scenes, while you're doing other things during the day, that solves that for buying out the store if that's what you really want to do. Because you got things on here this year like the beekeeper outfit for spring tokens, flower amulets, the bees aura override, the buzzkill title, and a bunch of decorations for the carrot boat, which is the other new thing that was added this year in terms of the activities, which can be done for agility XP, believe it or not, if you're not a group Iron Man.
We got sailing.
I was thinking of that. And the boats honestly handle better on old school. Which is to be expected for an actual skill.
I would hope so with 2 years of development they've put into it over there
for an actual skill.
If it wasn't better on old school, I'd be very concerned.
Yeah, but there's also the races that take place every hour on the 5, once an hour.
The Barracuda trials.
God, you're just going all in on this, aren't you?
No. It's neat. It's neat, but I don't love that it's on the hour. I feel like
it'd be nice to have a little bit more frequently.
Something consistency,
Every 15 minutes, every half hour at least.
And you can actually, with this, and I don't know if you guys knew this, but when you're in the carrot boat, it's just like in the little canoes in the city of you can get around by using surge and escape and dive.
I believe those abilities are required for the best times, no?
Yep. Yeah. Of course, if you manage to misclick on the bridge and you let the AI competitors get in front of you, then that is something that doesn't really matter. Because I was actually beaten by the AI competitors in the race that I did. I didn't have any actual human people in mine, and I missed a number of the things and had to go back and whatnot. But it's an interesting thing to do because you get a title from it. You're gonna do it, once, twice, maybe 3 times to get the titles that you want, and then you're gonna leave this because it's not great for XP. It's not great for tokens and whatnot. But it's a fun way, I'll say, to see the environment around you. Yeah, that is one great thing they did with it.
That's a good point.
So,
I think the one thing that sells these sort of seasonal areas, is the environment that they've created, because it is fun just to walk around and look at it all and the way the trees are and everything, the water and such. But yeah.
So, go ahead.
I had nothing to add.
Oh, I thought that was Tanis that was going to say something. Anyways.
Oh, no.
Okay. Are you guys going for anything? What are your general goals with it for this season?
For me, as usual, just unlock everything, which I have pretty much done. Once I get next week's egg hunts done, I'll have cleaned out that shop as well. At the moment, because I've cleaned out the spring token store already, so I'm just sitting here doing this, trying to gather some eggs to get that outfit that I won't get because my account is not Shane's, so I don't have the horseshoe. But
hey, I'm still missing it.
Fun trying.
I'm still missing it.
And how long have you been there?
It only came available yesterday, and I didn't actually do much yesterday. So, not much at all.
We all have this Dragonwilds problem going on.
Yeah, I've earned 11 eggs and still haven't got it, so...
Yeah. And
it's in three pieces too, right?
Yes. So that would be the worst, is that you miss it.
Get 2 pieces and can't feed it.
The top and the bottom, no middle.
But you can get them by just skilling inside the Blooming Burrow. They are also on Treasure Hunter. But one of the things that appears as well inside this Egg Hunter promotion is the solid gold Easter egg that has the option to eat it. And they put this on the GE with a 1.2 billion price. So this is going to be this Easter's tradable rare, a new Easter egg.
But you can actually eat it.
Yes, you can eat it, just like all the old ones, like the pumpkin and the old Easter egg.
Oh, so someone buys it and then accidentally clicks eat. Oh, I'd love to see that. I'd love to see someone do that. I'm a cruel bastard, but yeah.
But no, I'm going for the carrot costume. I feel like that's something I want just, to have it, because I think it'd be fun to just have a character running around at the player-owned farm dressed up as a carrot, tending to like dragons and sheep. So
that's pretty funny.
Living the dream.
So that's why I'm going for that.
Cape.
But
if you wear it, it doubles your carrot picking, harvesting.
We don't even have carrots in the game for allotments. Been asking for that for years.
Okay, turn your corn into carrots.
So
need some praise and carrots.
How do we feel about the burrow as a whole?
It's fine.
It's serving its purpose.
It's fine. I don't know if it's a symptom of the burrow or holidays in general, but I wasn't really excited or anything. It was just like, okay. And there was enough to go down and check it out, but there wasn't anything that kept me there.
Nothing that certainly took my Iron Man down there, but yeah, my main account sits down there.
I think that's fine for events. I don't think that events are supposed to be like headliner content.
No.
But they're filling the time.
And what I'm wondering about this, if you compare this to the Christmas event, which was the last one, that we had is that does the Christmas one feel more successful and more interactive because we're all in that sort of mood at that time of year compared to Easter?
I think so, because the Christmas one's my least favorite, and I don't get what the hype is. So it must be the Christmas.
Well, which one is your favorite then?
Halloween.
Between
I
this
think
one,
the Halloween one.
Okay,
I think
that's interesting because Halloween for me felt like really annoying, but maybe I was being led astray by that maze.
Well, I didn't Halloween.
And we were also just starting our Iron Man at the time.
Right. Okay.
I think my favorite part about the Easter event tends to be the Easter egg hunts, because they're the little brain teasers, which are really fun.
Okay.
So maybe that's saving it in my mind. The whole event is saved by that.
Do you do the Daily Burrow one?
No, not so much. I mean, once, twice, 3 times maybe, but it doesn't keep I know where the locations are, so
yeah. So you can just do it.
Brain teaser, brain torture. That's what it sounds like to me. It's hard.
Yeah, I do my daily runs because you do sort of know, but they're not guaranteed in all the spots. So you sort of run around, work out, and check all the spots. And
I think the community egg hunts are the most fun when you do them with the community when they come out on Sundays.
Yeah, for sure.
It'll be interesting to see what they do this year for the Gielinor ones. Because I remember last year, there was one of the egg hunts that was on the Gielinor side that required Dragon Slayer to be complete, or if not started.
The very first egg, yes.
Yeah.
On Grandor.
And then you had to have a certain amount of people get there to do it before it was exposed and things for other people.
Yeah, that was on the community one.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if they go that path again, or if it's more, just find it in maybe an obscure place for that. But
I have ideas to where one of them will be.
Okay.
And I just remember this now, and I don't know if you know this. They graphically updated. No, they graphically updated Asgardia Ice Dungeon this week.
Did they?
Shadow dropped it.
Okay.
I forgot until this moment. I was like, where would they put one? Definitely there, no? If they updated it.
So this is the dungeon off of Musa Point, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'll go have a look at that right now, because I do have a client up on that. So that would probably be a good spot to wager for that. But I guess what I'm after with this line of questioning is that, if you remove any kind of controversy that might emerge from the, inevitable treasure hunter rares that come out of this on its own for these kind of community events like this, do they stand on their own, and are they something that the players like and enjoy and engage with, is my question.
Engage, yes, because it's free XP on a lot of things. Like I'm sitting on World 15 at the moment, the Australian World, and sort of on the herb mixing station. I mean, you click on that, you can't, all the names, it's full of names. It's just a free XP on that type of stuff. So I think for that type of thing, it's fine. I am super happy that the group Iron Man can't sit here and just grind out XP, because I would feel obligated to camp my guy there. So I really, really thankful that we can't on that competitive side. But yeah, I mean, especially if you're just looking to grind up because you want to get to fighting, but you want to be able to make your potions and things, it serves a purpose, comes around. I mean, it's 2 or 3 weeks a year, bit of free XP. I don't think it's, as we said before, it's filler content, but it serves a purpose, and enough people interact with it to make it worthwhile bringing back each year.
And I think if you can get past the idea of needing to buy out the store, that probably helps too.
Yeah, I mean, even getting rougher.
Yeah.
Well, even that, because I do buy it out each year, and I've never had an issue. I keep up with it. If you're one who's coming this year and you want to try and do every year, don't. It's coming back next year. Get your favourites, and then next year, when you have a few left over, buy out what you want. Get a couple of the extras if you can. You don't need to do it all in 1 year.
I do think this year they added less than they added last year. So last year was like the big
a lot
initial
less.
batch. So it's going to be easier going forward. Just last year was a lot.
Also, you weren't kidding about
graphically
updating the Asgardian Ice Dungeon.
I think it must have been done in the same game jam as Paddlington, and like they were just kind of in the same build.
Nice.
Because I vaguely remember seeing it on Twitter months ago as a game jam thing.
Yeah,
go down and do some wyverns down there.
Yeah, so that might be a good shout, Avernick, for where one of the eggs will
take us.
Yeah,
put it right in the middle of the living wyverns cave.
No.
Yeah,
no.
Be mean. God, you gotta have a bit of danger. It's like with the kids. You got to put a couple of eggs up a tree.
There's billions, man.
Oh, you're gonna tell this story again?
On the ground, it's all the chocolate and the $1 bills, and the tree's the 20s.
Yeah, exactly. You got the big, huge, child's head size eggs up the trees. They just get the little ones down on the ground. They want to get that one. You gotta earn it, boy.
Yeah, get up there where the pythons live.
Who knows what's going to be up those trees in Australia?
I'll tell you, only a few spiders.
Okay,
only a few, but they're the size of many.
Tanis, I think your microphone got knocked off of position a bit. Just a note on that.
You're right.
They also did add the bunny ears in terms of the store that you'll be able to purchase from the community one.
Yeah, I got them for skill pets. I've got a lot more than I have skill pets, actually.
Yeah, that's true. I actually found when I was just gathering glum seeds earlier this week, I found a token, a redeemable token for the bunny ears for one of my skill pets. So it's nice that they're putting them in regular content. I was actually surprised that they're putting these in, and it didn't draw too much attention with the older ones from 2003, I think. So.
Oh. I just unlocked the carrot suit head.
Okay, I got to get down there.
Nice.
I got to get down there. Time's wasting. But yeah, bunny ears, I think are also a nice addition too. And like I said, very shocked that nobody made a big stink about this compared to the fact that this was one of the old collectible rares from back in the day. So obviously different in terms of the graphical fidelity, different in terms of the item, but
in the same space.
Yeah.
Well, maybe there's just so much new stuff this week that they didn't know what to shit on first.
Anything else?
And now you just told them what to yell about. Thanks, Shane.
Whoa, that wasn't me. That was Tanis that pointed that out.
You're pointing out how similar they are to the 2003 ones. I don't know.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else for the burrow?
No.
Not really.
Okay. We have a very small achievement section this week. Just a big congratulations to XOX Scotty XOX for getting 200 million smithing XP.
Ooh. There you go.
But I think we also have to do a what have we been doing section, because I forgot that we were busy in that regard this week, both in terms of Dragonwilds, but also the main game this week. Let's and I feel like we go as a group for this one, and I'll bring you in after, Avernick.
Okay.
We went group dungeoneering last night. All 5 of us in our group Iron Man group.
Yep.
Cool. I think I went from like level 54 to 65.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
41
going for dungeoneering wise?
Prif. 75.
Okay.
That's
and
me.
then you'll never see our asses again.
I went from 81 to 84, chasing 90, obviously, to open up that first dungeon for the extra crystal rocks in Prifddinas. But mainly, I mean, I've been doing a lot of questing this week. I slapped out, did all the nomads, got that series completed. Anyone doing it, do it in with necromancy. He's a little girl in that. He lays down. He'll just lay down and cry when you smack him with a ghost.
For me, I was tasked with gathering guams because we have something to the tune of 8,000 green charms available to our group.
Yep.
So the idea behind that is that we'll use the guams to make, I think those are what? Are they macaw?
Macaw pouches.
Yeah, macaw pouches. So just, spread that out across the entire group, and then that is a very budget friendly way to get everybody lots of summoning XP on that.
43, I think you need, and yeah.
Yeah. So I was doing that by just camping the fetid zombies outside the fort, which, you never know that was actually one of the best sources of guam seeds in the entire game. And in one evening, I think about 2 hours and a bit, I got like 600 plus guam seeds.
Wow. Nice.
So
now, are you doing guams 1 seed a patch to maximize herb per seed, or
oh no,
are you
I have all my plat power upgrades already, except for the last one. So going all in.
Really using up those
points
seeds,
are more important.
More in time, yeah.
Because of the way the formula works with that, if you do have the seeds and the seeds are plentiful, it's always better to plant more at once. It's just that if you are short on seeds, like if you're working at the very high end with Torstal or Lantatomy or Dwarfweed, that's when you bring it down to a lower number if you're still short on the seeds, I find.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah, I do my wild blood seeds, not wild blood, the wilderness seed. What is it? The bloodweed, that's the one. I do those one at a time.
Oh, yeah.
And then put on the outfit and drink a potion and put on my my aura, all for that one spot.
At that point, you better do the other, 6 or 7 herb patches you have available.
I still throw something in there as well, but yeah, it's mainly so I can maximize what comes out of the bloodweed. But certainly still, because it gives me extra Morchella mushrooms and everything as well. So I do my full farm run, but yeah.
Don't disappoint Shane. Do your full run.
Yeah. Other than trees, Shane gets all my trees.
What about you, Tanis?
I mean, dungeoneering with you guys, but otherwise, catching up, making up for while I was away. Hit 75 mining. Gonna try to hit 75 smithing soon.
Did you get 90 cooking yet?
Yep, 90 cooking, 90 fishing.
We got to test that thing if you can assist Daxi with making primal pulp then.
Yep, absolutely. I can make it straight up.
You also need 90 herblore for that though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we gotta figure out how that works on that. But
so got yeah, I'll have ports too, or I do have ports. So eventually we'll have the fish soups and all that stuff too. So yeah, that, and then trying to, like I said, I squeezed a couple hours of Dragonwilds, but we're still in the full smack busy part of the kid doing stuff every night, and so and work. So haven't had as much time, but I feel like I've grinded a bunch and marked a bunch of shit off. Making progress.
Good.
Sit the daughter on your knee and do the duck quest with her. It's nice and cute and keeps her entertained.
I think his kids and daughter in particular are a little bit older than that age range, right, Janice?
Yeah, she's 12.
Okay. Also, just to highlight from our group Iron Man adventures, we now have a group Grace of the Elves, finally.
Wow.
I don't know if you saw that in chat, but Taxi posted that last night that we now have a Grace of the Elves that people can
Who got
take
lucky
out.
at Wilderness Flash events? Oh wait, no, that's just for the enchantment. Sorry,
No.
You guys got the Onyx.
We can't get that. We can't do Flash events.
Oh right, that's the one thing you can. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But that means now I've got to start working on all those clues to get us lots more fortunates.
Mm.
You got all the stacks in the bank for you.
Oh yeah, I think I've got something like 400 easy clues. But I can smack out. Well, actually, it'll probably be less on this account because I don't have the full outfit on the other one. But on my main, I can smack out 10 or 12 easies. 10 or 12 easies in an hour without trying. So I'll be able to smack out 8 or 10 on the Iron Man. And again, because you get so used to where all the spots are. It's something I can do. Just have the wrestling on in the background on TV and just sit on my laptop and just do them. So.
Wow, wow, wow.
Install
Alt
Alt 1.
You'll get No,
never.
But it's an efficiency matter.
It's a cheating software. I don't cheat my clues. Thank you. I am not a cheater.
You memorize them like a good cluer.
Exactly.
Okay,
I remember we used to have a race. Me and another player on the elites, and I beat him a few times on the puzzles. He had his Alt 1 telling him how to do it, and I'd be doing it, myself. And I mean, he won most of them obviously because he goes the most efficient route. But I beat him enough times to make it sort of say, yeah, see, I'm just as
man
good
versus
as you.
machine.
Yeah, I'm just as good as your cheating software.
Avernick,
to everyone, that is tongue in cheek.
Yeah, of course. Avernick, anything for you this week?
I was working on trim requirements
before Wednesday.
Before Wednesday, I had like
Tuesday,
8 strange rocks left, and so I'm done with my Damrock statue in my house.
Okay, I think you mentioned that last week. That's good.
Right at the edge, and was doing Shooting Stars. Then quick Easter event detour when that came out in Duck Quest on Monday, and then Tuesday, I played all of the current Dragonwilds content. So that was enough time playing video games just doing that. Got through the main story. I think all the side quests, made all the masterwork items. My house is still a little shack. Maybe I'll upgrade that, but pretty keen to do some sort of multiplayer
like a proper build
again
and whatnot. I can't wait to see what they do with that.
It's
quick one for you, Avernick.
Yes.
No, sorry. Go on about that. I'll just tell you something about the strange rocks afterwards.
Oh, okay. I know. It's just I'm Dragonwilds. It's only stuff up to tier 4 so far, like tier 4 armor and weapons, and there's so much room for more. I am slowly outfitting. I did everything in melee, so now I'm starting to get all of my range gear together, my mage gear together for hopeful future use.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yes.
Just if you are hunting rocks, and this goes for anyone, I mean, obviously with Anachronia, you'll have all that done, and you just got those resources sitting there. Throw them in at IAEA.
Oh, yes.
Very, very fast for rocks.
I definitely have been abusing that. I'm surprised I haven't run out of resources because I'm going through like 2 sets of rocks in a day, and it's like, how is there still XP here to get? But it just sticks around. So,
yep.
Right, and I guess that takes us to the pick of the week section, which, I mean, it couldn't be any more obvious this week, could it?
It could only be.
With the
fact there's Dragonwilds again.
With the fact there's something to download.
Yeah, definitely been a highlight of the week.
It has been a surprise. It is something that we welcome entirely into the RuneScape franchise, and if you have the computer that can play it and you are interested in seeing what a different take on the RuneScape world would look like through a survival game lens, and you are able to purchase it on Steam, I think it's $29.99 USD, 25 British pounds, and 39 Canadian dollars. If you can purchase it, it is definitely something that you should look at. And, you know, whether you play it alone or if you play it with your friends, this is the beginning of something new for Jagex. And when you look at it from that perspective, if you apply the RuneScape community to that and see where they want to go with it, I think we are jumping on at a very, very interesting point in its development process, and we question in a very positive sense where this is going to go. And I think I just have a huge ton of hope for this going forwards.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And for anyone in Australia, because Shane cares only about the Northern Hemisphere, not us Southerners, $43.95.
Okay.
All right.
Tanis, what's your last word on Dragonwilds?
I can't wait to see how much more it we get. I've thoroughly enjoyed just the beginning. I mean, I'm curious. I want to see how big of a place I can make. I'm gonna make a big place. I mean, let's go.
He's making himself a mansion.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, that's really. I just love the idea of this game. I feel like RuneScape would probably be a survival game if, you know, like I really think that it's the cartoon come to life. Yeah. So
complements the world nicely. And just another thing, for early adopters, apparently you receive a Pioneer's Scarf, Pioneer's Tapestry, a Pioneer's Cape, and 2 pieces of music as a special offer for early access.
Oh,
and
okay.
On top
I didn't
of
even know that.
They've expressed that they intend for the price of this to go up by full release, so
of
if you
course,
buy it now, it is cheaper.
Right, and that's another way to rope people into it, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, RuneScape Dragonwilds pick of the week from everybody, and, you know, not too often do we have a universal pick of the week like that, so very interested to see where it goes, and I'll definitely be spending some more time in it over the Easter long weekend. But that's pretty much it for this episode, I think. I don't think there's anything else we need to mention. We talked about ducks, we talked about the Blooming Burrow, we talked about carrots, and of course we talked about a new game in our hands, a new RuneScape game, which hasn't happened since...
Who would have thought?
There's just one thing.
Who would have thought all of a sudden?
Just in the patch notes, the Jadinko pet, which is a cute little one, can now override your familiars and legendary pets.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I didn't even know there were patch notes this week.
Oh, there's like a 6, 7, 8, 9.
Even if you read them, the graphical update wasn't in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at that, because, your graphical update isn't listed in it.
Oh, you don't have to give me credit for it. But...
To give you,
I'll take
no. No, you've got to take credit for that one.
Spreading the word.
So, do we call, what do we call the last RuneScape release before this? Is it NXT?
Chronicle?
Is it Chronicle? Or is it RS3? It was Chronicle, wasn't it?
Chronicle, yeah.
Chronicle,
like the last new addition to the RuneScape franchise.
Is it not? I mean, if you're going that broad, you have the board game, the books, the RPG.
I'm thinking just video game.
You're thinking video games? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, Chronicle was May 2016.
Oh.
Almost a decade.
That was after the Idle Adventures couple of months early access thing.
When
it was right around. I thought it was around the same time, but.
Idle Adventures was September 2016.
Okay, and there was that one what was it? The Amazon Echo narrative adventure they released, the One Piercing No Quest.
Yeah, okay. I don't know that.
I don't know. I'm maybe delving a little too far, stretching the video game a little much, but
yeah. So let's say since 2016, first new addition to the RuneScape franchise released publicly. Since then, and you know that it's not every day that happens. So it's amazing to be able to cover that. I didn't think I would be covering that this week, but it has been a welcome
the attention
surprise.
Of people outside the RuneScape community too.
Oh yeah, did you see the Twitch numbers?
High.
Like at midnight on launch day, there were still like 23,000 people watching.
They're interested. Strike the iron while it's hot. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, and you checked before we began tonight, and they still had more people.
It's still double old school
than old school. So
yeah, 9K on Dragonwilds right now and 4.5K on old school.
And not all of them can be hot chicks. So I mean,
what does that have to do with anything?
I'm just saying.
Okay,
can't all be.
Okay. Well, let us know what you think. Let us know what you thought of Dragonwilds, and if you want to see more of that on the show, of course. But in the meantime, we're here each and every week. Best way to get the podcast is to subscribe over at update.show/subscribe. We're on all the major podcast listening services, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Spotify, and more, as well as YouTube as well. YouTube.com/RSBANB, and liking, subscribing there, and leaving comments does indeed help the show out. So let us know what you think. You can do it in the YouTube comments, or you can join our Discord over at update.show/Discord. But thanks for being here, Avernick. Always good having you on.
I'm happy for the bonus quest week. Happy for the bonus everything. So
the bonus Dragonwilds content.
the bonus game.
Yeah. And Pernasius as well, everyone's second favorite Australian.
Thank you.
And with that being said, Tan, is always good having you as well.
Okay, same.
And with that being said, we'll see you guys next week for another episode of RSBANB Update. See you then, everyone. Take care.
Happy Skyping all.
See ya.